Hi, it's Chris. A little different viewpoint here, but this is my review of reading through the Bible in a year chronologically. That's just a ceiling fan behind my head there. I don't have angel wings there. Kind of looks like it. I don't know. Anyway, regardless, reading through the Bible in a year chronologically. Today's reading, September 29th, Mark 1, 14 and 15, Matthew 4, verses 12 through 17, John 4, 46 and 54, Luke 4, 16 through 30, Mark 1, 16 through 20. Anyway, got the beginnings of the Bibles, of the Gospels. All four. There's some that are very similar. We've got the calling of Andrew and Peter and James and John. We see them called to be made fishers of men as the New King James Version. He calls them. They follow him. And the first miracle we already read about yesterday, and that was turning water into wine. The second miracle was the government official from Capernaum. Had a son, very sick son, but came and asked Jesus for healing for his son. And Jesus said, hey, he's healed. Don't worry about it. Go back home. He's healed. And he believed it. He says he believes. And he went back home, and his son was well. And he asked about what time, and he compared that with the time that Jesus said he would be well, and it was the same timing. So he and his household believed. Jesus was rejected at Nazareth. They tried to throw him off a cliff in his hometown when he proclaimed that he was the fulfillment of the law. He read through Isaiah. And just a recap on that, I was thinking today as I was listening to a podcast, Unashamed, Al and Jace and Robertson, and they had Dallas Jenkins on there, but Zach's always on there too, their cousin. But they were talking about how Jesus was telling his disciples he was going to die. He said numerous times, if you read, they were in I think John 17, 18, somewhere in there, they were reading about Jesus, and Jesus was telling, hey, I'm going to die. They had the Last Supper. They were talking about that. But Jesus proclaimed to them, I'm about to die here. Just so you know, I'm about to die, but don't worry, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna send the helper. Everything's gonna be okay. But I've got to die. And they didn't get it. But he had told them multiple times throughout. The Son of Man came. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna suffer. I'm gonna die. And it's all for good. And it didn't click for them. But he had been leaving these little nuggets. So they were talking about how those were nuggets of truth that they weren't going to get until afterwards. But all along the whole Old Testament, like we said, John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word in the beginning, it's been there. So that tells me Isaiah was his words hundreds of years before, so he could quote them and he could speak them, and he put them there for him to fulfill, for himself to fulfill. He knew what was going to happen. He could quote the scriptures because they were his words to begin with that were written down. Anyway, so we get that, and then we get the many miracles of it's kind of the same, where there's healing of all kinds of diseases and paralytics and epileptics. Jesus heals them. He also cast out demons numerous times. Many demons. He casts out many demons. So there's many demons that need casting out. And the one thing that's kind of another common theme with that, when demons were cast out, he rebuked them and refused to let them speak. I guess my theory on that, what comes to me as to why Jesus would not let the demons speak, is because Satan is the father of lies, and they speak nothing but fear and lies. Jesus has conquered them. Jesus is the victor over them. And if they speak, they may put seeds. They may speak destruction on people. They're only going to speak destruction. They're not going to speak of anything good. Words have meaning. They have purpose. And the devils and Satan, they're only going to speak destruction and lies, false truths. They're going to twist what's right and make it wrong. So it's really imperative that we don't let them speak. We don't listen to their words. They can put words into our heads. They can influence us in that way, and we must rebuke them and not let them speak to us. We need to take every thought captive. The other side of that is we have to be careful what we use, as James says, the words that we use, bridle the tongue. Very important to speak life and truth and not destruction. Our words have meaning, and all words have meaning, and therefore Jesus would not let the demons speak for that reason. He would allow them to proclaim that he is the Son of God, but that was it. What else do we see? A lot more of the same in Galilee, and he kept going out and again casting out demons and healing the sick, and that's what he did in this section. Jesus has that power, and this power and more he has given us as well. But God's will be done. Is that healing or is it not? I tell you what, if you're suffering sickness, by all means pray and ask, and don't quit asking. He says that. Matthew, later on we'll read where Jesus gives us parables about people being persistent in prayer. It's very important that we are persistent in our prayer life, that we continue to ask. We don't quit asking, and we ask with purpose. He says, by prayer and supplication. Supplication is that earnest kind of begging God in prayer. So it's important that we ask, and we don't ask. We need to ask. We should ask. We have not because we ask not, and then when we do ask, we ask amiss, waiting to use it on our various pleasures. That's another James quote. So it's important we ask, and we ask with the right heartbeat. So anyway, that's my summary of tonight. A lot of good nuggets. The ministry of Jesus was so important. The Bible's so important. Read it for yourself. I see this, and as I'm reading through it, I just want to slow down. Oh, it's so good. Every morning I wake up and I read the verse of the day, and I read that chapter, and there's so much life, and there's so much you can get out of just a few words in that chapter to understand around it. And at night I'm reading through multiple chapters and multiple areas, but God speaks through all of it. I think I've gotten more out of the storyline in the past than individual verses. That seems to be the way that God spoke to me early on and showed me his nature. So read his holy word, read his book, understand it, and God bless.